maintenance and the costs of doing maintenance. And the county can't just keep adding 10,000 people each decade to this valley and not deal with the road issues that come with that increase in population. Much of the development that is happening is occurring on gravel roads like this in the valley that have inadequate drainage and gravel surfaces that erode quickly and create dust that affects air quality. The subdivision regulations of the county currently require each developer to pay a proportional share of improving that road to full county standards, as shown in the lower slide, at a cost of about $1 million a mile. So if a developer is required to pay $200,000 toward that $1 million price, where does the other $800,000 come from? Currently, the county has no answer or plan in terms of how this is going to work out. And the county in 2005 did a study of the road network in the north end of the valley where that prior example was given at $1 million a mile for reconstructing the collector road network to serve future growth. And the price estimates were somewhere between $16 million and $24 million just for that portion of the valley. And the question then becomes, who has the money and who is going to be paying for the upgrade of that infrastructure over time? Will the state provide funding to accommodate the needed road improvements for growth in Helena Valley? Will county taxes need to be raised to provide for those improvements? Can the rural improvement districts that currently maintain those roads, or at least some of them, provide that needed capital investment? And finally, at least one other option is to have the developers provide for that funding as they develop their subdivisions. But the reality is that no one of these entities has the resources needed to do the type of road improvements that will be needed in the future. So, important policy questions on roads include, is the road network adequate to accept new development traffic impacts at a rate of 50,000 new vehicle trips each decade? Secondly, should the county develop a long-range plan for upgrading what we call the everybody roads to accept new traffic? Thirdly, should developers and ultimately the people purchasing lots in their subdivisions be required to improve the roads leading to those projects as well as building their new subdivision roads? Hard questions, no easy answers. The fourth and final area that I'd like to explore with you is the need for fire protection within the valley. And there's an animation occurring that represents the 2012 corral fire that occurred. It started on the backside of the Scratch Gravel Hills, burned up over the ridge along it, and then down into the valley, jumping the irrigation canal as well as Green Meadow Drive. The fire chiefs who fought that fire said that when it hit the sagebrush in the valley, the flames were 30 feet high. Thankfully, after 4 days of burning and only 2,000 acres being affected and only 4 homes being destroyed by that fire, the wind shifted, it blew back on itself, and it was finally brought under control. Now, last summer, the fire chief from Colorado Springs was here in Helena talking about the comparison and similarities between the city of Helena and the city of Colorado Springs, where the year before last, they had an event like the Corral Fire that burned 300 homes in Colorado Springs. Well, little did that fire chief know that 2 weeks later, as he returned to Colorado Springs, they would have an even bigger wildfire event that destroyed more than 500 homes in Colorado Springs. Now, the reality is that the county can't stop wildfires from occurring. Many of them are caused by lightning strikes in dry season. But the harm they cause and the dangers they present are very much affected by what we do or fail to do. Wildfires burning through forests is a natural process. Wildfires burning through home sites and neighborhoods is always a crisis, but it does not have to be a catastrophe. Fire experts have demonstrated that clearing vegetation around homes and using non-combustible roofing and siding can protect homes from wildfires. This vegetation management is a requirement of subdivision approval, but it is not actively enforced, and there are no county regulations on building materials. Another challenge for our rural fire districts is fighting fires without a public water supply system. Regulations require subdivisions to have water tanks or ponds based on standard specifications, but there have been serious problems encountered with the construction of those water sources in terms of accessibility and reliability. The firefighters need to know that water is available when they arrive at the scene of a fire. This was the actual condition of a fire pond in one fire scene that they responded to. We are seeing more development in the valley being built at densities equal to the city of Helena, but unlike the city, the county does not have urban design standards that adequately plan for such growth. Dense neighborhoods in Helena require on-street parking and wider streets. In the county, narrow streets can make them impassable for fire trucks in emergencies when those streets are lined with parked cars. This is a serious problem brought to our attention by those who are responsible for protecting lives and property in those new neighborhoods in the valley. Policy questions on fire protection include: can the county sustain its volunteer fire protection systems with this kind of growth? What measures should be taken to enable our volunteers to protect lives and properties? Thirdly, as development moves up into the high hazard hills, should more stringent controls be applied? As we move forward with the growth policy update, we recognize that people have personal values and viewpoints that differ on these development issues. Some people think that the county has no business regulating development. It's purely a matter of the marketplace and buyer beware. Others believe that the county should strictly limit growth to the outskirts of Helena, where city services can be provided and streetcars can be reintroduced. Such polarization leads to policy paralysis. What is desperately needed is to identify common ground where stakeholders with differing viewpoints can respect the viewpoints of others and work together on common concerns. This presentation and this planning effort is an attempt to lay out some key issues where broad agreement should be achievable, at least on the reality of the problems, if not on every solution. Helena Valley will continue to develop with or without good planning and effective land use policies. We believe it is in everyone's best interests to come up with solutions that ensure water availability for existing homes as well as new development, proper wastewater management that will protect drinking water, as well as people building or selling homes. Properly maintained roads clearly are needed to facilitate growth, as is adequate fire protection. We welcome your involvement and your ideas as we go forward with this important process. So how can you get involved? Here are some opportunities. You can visit the County Growth Policy Update website at www.lccountymt.gov, and then there's a link there that gives you the specific information. You can come to a meeting and let us know your thoughts, and we will be posting the meetings that we will be scheduling for public participation on our website, so check there. There will be, as I said, over 10,000 households will be receiving a mail survey. Please take the time. It should take you about 20 minutes to read through a brochure of information that summarizes what I've presented here, and then another 15 minutes to answer some key questions similar to the ones that I've given you in this presentation. You can also fill out the survey on the website itself. You can give us a call at 406-447-8374. You can also email us with comments or questions at planning@lccountymt.gov, or you can send in a letter or even stop by and visit our offices to get more information. Thank you very much, and I look forward to continuing this dialogue with you in the future.